I'm in a lot of pain tonight, so we shall see how far I get. Ooh. Comedy of the evening. How do you know you're transsexual or transgender? So, a lot of people in this community says they know early on as a child. Being transsexual or trans, I think it's something you just do and then you have a word for it later. For instance, as a kid, I always just wanted to be just like my brother. Always. And it started, I just want to be just like my brother. I worshipped and adored my brother. And then there's this little thing that comes up once a year. And it might be a defining factor for some people. Or starting to understand, maybe your thoughts about how you identify, maybe not. It's called Halloween. So, I chose to be Chef Louise from The Little Mermaid instead of the Little Mermaid. My mom, she didn't complain. She had to make a chef's hat. I had to find a lobster and a pot. She didn't question it. And the next year, I want to be a football player. My dad had to, figure out how to find some old smelly football pads and a helmet. I didn't say anything. Next year, I was a ninja. And then there was Steve Urkel. Dance class. That one guy in the dance class has to wear the tights and the outfit. I'm like, I'd love to wear his outfit. You start dressing as your dad. Your dad's like, 300 pounds heavier than you, but you want to put on his clothes. Be just like your dad. And you start wearing your brother's clothes. Start wearing boys' clothes. Elementary, starting of junior high. And then the bra fight starts. The bra fight. Dana, it's time for you to wear a bra. No. I won't wear a bra, Mom. No. It's like I tried to get, older, more mature girls have talks with me and go to the shopping place and find bras. And then my mom would get phone calls from the teacher. We found your daughter's bra in the wastebasket. So, this kept going. And I kept wearing my brother's clothes. And I got to middle school still wearing my brother's clothes. And people would say things like, Dana's a dyke. I didn't really think about it. I was just like, they're just not very nice people. I like what I'm doing. And anyhow, so I kept wearing my brother's clothes, went to band. They would not let me play the drums. So my dad had to buy me drums at home. They would not let me try out for the football team. I wonder why. I'm a tiny little Mexican, a Mexicalito. They would not let me, audition. Couldn't be on the football team. And all the things I wanted to be around and do were male things. When I was a little kid, Dana, you can do one thing when we go to the beach. Do you want to go shopping? Disney World? Do you want to go, we're in Florida. SeaWorld, Disney World, there's the mall. No, Daddy, I want to dress just like you and go deep sea fishing. How many 12, 11-year-olds, I want to dress just like my dad, wore boys' darker pleated pants, and, jumped on a boat, caught the biggest fish. on the boat. You know, and my family never said a thing, you know, and my interests never changed. But you think as white men that, excuse me, that sounded unfair. You think as men that white girls are intimidating in general. Try being an awkward, uncomfortable kid that is trans but doesn't exactly know how to be that in middle school, high school, college, and they could smell your fear, literally smell your fear, you know. I was quite the victim. It's like, get the Barbie and whack Dana. And because I was so masculine, I'd do things that maybe weren't quite appropriate, like kick my brother in the nuts, you know, kick random guys in the nuts. Because I thought that's what you did, you know. I'd watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'd watched Karate Kid, and that's all, you know. I just want to be like Ralph Macchio. So then there was this thing, if I want to do what the boys want to do and play their games and play guitar like them and do things like them, how, you know, I figured out that boys like boobs, so therefore, you know, I had to get the boobs, which I don't regret. But I was like, okay, you know, if I want to be around men and do what men do and have them take me seriously, I've got to get boobs. So that was a thing. And, you know, here I am. It didn't matter how I dressed or how I act. My interests never really exactly changed. And who I am and what I was. So how do you know you're transgender? I would say it's your interest. And just it starts at an early age, maybe. And I guess just how people just want to assume things. They assume that because you don't want to completely change your body, you're not fully committed. Not the full Monty kind of thing. I don't know if that's even a kind word. I don't know. But it's just the ignorance that, you know, that yes, I am still attracted to men. But I don't see myself as a female. I don't have a lot of behaviors that are female. I don't have a lot of interests that are female. You know, it's one of those things that when I talked to my mom about it, finally told my mom, it was, you know, no big surprise to her. Obviously, she had to make all my Halloween costumes. So, yeah, that's how you know. And another reason you can know is people are hateful and sometimes say things or don't allow you in clubs or allow you to have the interest you want. And that's unfortunate and sad. And people may mock you, and that's really sad, unfortunate, and also very bigoted. But anyhow, that's how you know you're trans. Maybe, or at least how I knew. Have a good afternoon. I'm going to try to get out of pain. Chef Louise. Not the Little Mermaid. Chef Louise. Very particular.